at the home of the Super Bowl 52 champions, Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, PA. The scene in South Philly a few moments ago. Boy, the city of brotherly love is fired up. They're saying, "Fly, Eagles, fly," as they get ready to match up with the Miami Dolphins. Here's Jason Sanders now to get this one started, and off we go from Lincoln Financial Field. On the return, Boston Scott. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Miles Sanders, first carry of the game. The game's first play produces 6 yards, brings up 2nd down.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Six yards on that last play. Here's 2nd and 4. Here's Sanders.
All right, Brand, I know we're in the early going here, but those kind of runs, they're going to open up a world of opportunities for this offense going forward.
On 1st down, it's Sanders, and he takes it past the 45 and down at the 46. Andrew Van Ginkel there on the stop.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
It's a 2nd down run with Sanders. And he works his way forward for about 4 up to the midfield stripe.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, "I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you."
On 3rd and short, going with their tight end. And he is going to have an Eagles first down, and comfortably so, as he gets 5 there on 3rd and a yard. All runs on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10. They'll run. It's Sanders, as he's got this down inside the 40 to the 39. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3.
Well, I think that's what they're going to need to do here in the first half. You've got to take some pressure off of this young quarterback, and no better way to do it than to establish the running game early.
From the 39, Hurts, and he finds the tight end Rodgers. And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30.
That was a round run, not just with dexterity, but with intelligence. Found the hole in the zone, made sure the quarterback saw him, and was able to make the sure catch and flip the down marker back to 1.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Now Sanders. And some space here. And they'll work it inside the 15-yard line before it's all said and done. 44 yards rushing for him now on just 6 carries to this point. Quite the opening drive march they're on right now.
It looks a lot like what we saw in practice prior to the game, doesn't it? You know, because on that last big practice beforehand, you go through your offensive script, you go through your play calling, you go through all the stuff and establish things, and it looks like it's going like clockwork right now for them.
5 yards on the catch there, brings up second down.
Hey, let's face it, you can put any Halloween costume on him. You're not going to be able to disguise him because for a tight end of his size, difficult to sneak him anywhere, but that's what they tried to do. Lined up on his right, tried to work his way back to his left, but just a minimal gain as the defense was able to react.
Touchdown, Eagles! Richard Rogers from 8 yards out. And the Eagles drive right down the field and score on the opening drive. Quite the drive there to get things started. They took up the bulk of the first quarter, and they end up in the end zone.
And I love your last point. Ended up in the end zone. Because a lot of teams like those long drives, especially to keep their offense off the field, right? Keep the ball away from them. But they finished it with a touchdown. That's the exclamation point. Now flip it over defensively. They've got to slow that down somehow, right? Maybe they need to be a little more aggressive. Maybe a few more pressures towards the quarterback.
Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. Here comes Jalen Waddle from his end zone. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. Tagovailoa and the Dolphins come up 1st and 10 at their own 23. They'll try and start this drive in the air. And this is caught. I think he got that with one hand. A gain of 6 there on first. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. And this won't be enough to pick up the first. A gain of 2, 3rd and 1.
Well, that's all about doing the dirty work right there defensively. 2nd and short yardage, that's all about plugging those gaps, not giving a running back a crease to run through. And that's a nice job to hold him just a couple and force a 3rd down.
Tua looking to throw on 3rd and 2. And this pass broken up. Excellent coverage there on 3rd down, as that was not an easy one to hold on to.
That's an excellent job right there on 3rd down. Like any defense, you never want to let them get anything started, and that would have been a 1st down. Instead, you saw the contact on time, no penalty, and before this drive could get wings, it's 4th down.
Yeah, boy, down a touchdown already, but they're going to line up to go for it on their side of the field. They'll try and run for it. And a great effort there to shed the contact, and it helps them pick up the first. Backed up where they were on this side of the field, that was a gutsy call.
A gutsy call that never should have happened. Not so much them going for it. That's their decision. But where's the defensive front? Where's the leverage? Where's the low man wins?
And he's got it. What a catch on the sideline. And all the way in for a Miami touchdown. Jalen Waddle, 64 yards. And the Dolphins are an extra point away from tying up this football game. Even though he was forced from the pocket, still able to adjust, make the long throw, and it ends with a really big touchdown.
Yeah, moving to his left. The key to everything when they're moving outside of the pocket, doesn't matter which side, making sure those shoulders get around and you get back square so you can get everything on the throw and create the big play we just saw there downfield.
Extra point up and good by Sanders, and we are tied here in the second quarter. Each team's had it. Each team has scored. 7-7 here as the kick's away. Scott on the return out of the end zone. And the drive will begin at the 25 as Scott is going to stay in the end zone. Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. And he'll give it here to his running back. And not much, maybe a yard up to the 29. I think you mentioned in the opening drive that these guys needed to establish the run, protect the young QB. Actually broke that down, believe it or not. So how would you assess things so far?
I'm kind of touched that you actually wrote something like that down. I appreciate that, partner. But I do think they've been able to do that. Maybe not as effectively as they've wanted to, but I think we'll see more of as this game goes along because they want to continue to take care of that young QB.
The Dolphins bring on an extra defensive back on 3rd down. They'll set up a throw. He finds Smith out of the backfield. And he is going to have an Eagles first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Every now and then I can speak from experience because I do know as a defender, it is awfully hard to stay with your man on these crossing routes because even if you don't get picked, there's a danger of being picked either by one of their receivers or maybe by your own defender. And on that play, that worked quite well.
They'll run on 1st down. Sanders. And he's across midfield and into Miami territory. 55 rushing yards rushing for him now to this point.
Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on 1st down, that fits the bill.
A good run got 7 on 1st. Here's 2nd and 3. Second quarter, 2 minutes to go. Tie ball game. We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes' time, we'll hand you off to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman will have highlights and analysis of this first half of action. Give him a yard on the run there, and that's going to set up a 3rd down and 2. The Dolphins going to take their 2nd timeout. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. On 3rd and short, they'll try and pick it up through the air. Rodgers brings it in. Just a gain of a couple there. And that's going to bring up a 4th down.
Well, it looks like they got what they wanted. They got the completion, but they weren't able to break any tackles or gain nearly enough yardage to pick up the 1st down. Now to be 4th and short.
Feeling like they're not quite in field goal range yet. They're going to go for it on 4th. He'll look to throw. He's got Dallas Goedert, his tight end, over the middle. And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25.
And that's a big pickup of a 1st down. And you know that all week, both sides of the ball, offense and defense, are going through every situation. And in this case, the offensive guys had the right play dialed up because defensively, you work on 4th down situations as well.
And deflating for the defense. They can't get the stop here. They get him to the ground right on the cusp of the red zone after a pickup of 5 or 6.
And when you get good yardage like that on 1st down, it really does a whole lot of good for your entire offense. But I love the way he's finishing those runs. At the end of things, he's making sure he gets just a little bit extra.
The last run got 6. Now 2nd and 4. Now back to throw. Left side here to Sanders. And he is out of bounds, but first he gets it inside the 10 to the 7.
And this has been a nice answer to the touchdown drive against them a few minutes ago because they've come out and reestablished the tempo. A nice throw there, and they're putting together a very strong drive as a response.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And he'll take it into the end zone for an Eagles touchdown. Miles Sanders taking it in from 7 yards away. And the Eagles have taken the lead. Elliott on for the extra point. He's got it. It's now a 14-7 ball game. Touchdown. Here's Elliott on to kick it away. And that one will bounce out of the back of the end zone, so we will start here at the 25. The Dolphins at the line, ready for their next drive. There was still more than a minute to go in the half. Time to try to mount a drive.
And I would think that they would have to. This is today's NFL. You got to push it whenever you get an opportunity. You can never have enough points with the high-powered offenses that you face. And analytics will tell you, try and score when given the opportunity.
A gain of 6 there on first. They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31. From the gun, it's Tua. Rolling to his left. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down.
Certainly making his presence felt in both the pass and the run game. He's having an impact.
Yeah, his first carry of the game right there. He had hurt him with his arm. Now he's showing that he can shuffle the puppies as well. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. Now the Dolphins will use the last of their timeouts, as they'll stop it with 17 seconds to go in this first half of action. So the big play gets them all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. Tagovailoa working out of the gun. Throw right side, going to be caught here by Waddle. And they work this near the 5. He'll be stopped at the 6. And that'll do it for the end of the second quarter. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. And we welcome you back live now inside the booth alongside Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin, set and ready to rock for the third quarter. The Dolphins down on the scoreboard, but they'll have it first as we get going in this third quarter. Waddle is going to elect to not bring this out, and instead his guys will begin at the 25-yard line. The Dolphins at the line, ready for their next drive. They do trail, but they have a chance to possess the football first to try and do something about it.
And that certainly makes it something of an important drive for them, because is it going to win the game? No, but you have to do something to bring some life to your sideline.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Here's Gaskin. And very little room to maneuver. He'll get this down to about the 39. Fletcher Cox there for the tackle. 3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. They'll run now with Gaskin. And a good swarm to the football defensively as they get him down at about the 40.
Now that's a mountain of a man that just made that stop, isn't it? But he's more than that. This guy's nimble and quick. More than a space eater, he just made a great play there.
Tua going to throw. Buying time to his left. And he nearly got the first himself, but it appears he's going to be about a yard or 2 short. He'll wind up getting 4 yards there on his own, but it also brings up 4th down. and now movement and a whistle, and they may have to rethink their plans on 4th down. So taking a risk here early in the new year, they're going to go for it. Tua on 4th down. Got a man, it's Waddle, complete. And they're well past midfield, just a yard or two shy of the 40. I don't know if I agree with that. I guess they don't care if I agree with that. But, boy, you have to be surprised by that, right?
I definitely was surprised that they decided to go for it in this situation. But they must have either felt like they either had a great play call on or they're trying to show extreme confidence.
Tackle made that time by Brandon Graham.
Brandon, 5 yards on that run. Let's get back to the huddle and make sure if you're a back, you spend time with your offensive line and give them credit. Hard to move those 300-plus pounders at the line of scrimmage, and they did for a significant chunk of yardage.
And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. 40 yards now on the ground on just 7 carries.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
Working with a 2nd and 3. Going to the air, Tagovailoa. That's to Waddle on the quick slant. And the Dolphins are going to have a 1st and goal coming up as the tackle made at the 3-yard line.
And I'll tell you what, this offense is playing a little bit of keep away right now. They've come out here in the 3rd quarter, possessed the ball for quite a while, and they keep on converting. Nice pitch and catch there to set up the 1st and goal.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And they'll bring him down after just a short pickup. He'll get 2 out of that run, and it's going to bring up a 2nd and goal. Now the offense going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. Carter with it. And he'll take this into the end zone for a Dolphins touchdown. Ethan Carter. Excellent work there to get in on the touchdown run. And the Dolphins are an extra point away from tying this ball game here in the final moments of the 3rd quarter. Sanders on for the extra point. And we've got a good one brewing. We're all knotted up at 14. So we're right back where we started, all even as the kick's away. And that one will bounce out of the back of the end zone, so we will start here at the 25. The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. Their halftime lead now evaporated. We're back to level following that touchdown a moment ago.
And that shouldn't change the mindset a whole lot from an offensive perspective because they already knew this was going to be a hard-fought game. Now they just need to go out, execute their game plan, and keep moving.
So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3. They'll go again with Sanders.
Oh, that's one to warm the hearts of all those old school football players, isn't it? Tough, hard, gritty run, got behind his pads, bowled over a few people. Look at that one, right up the gut.
So up through 3 quarters, no reason to lighten up now. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Hurts a handoff to Sanders. And he'll muscle his way up to the 43 for a pickup of right around 5.
That's a really nice, tough run inside, and they gained 5 yards on it. And to be frank about it, most offenses don't expect to get 5 yards on a play call like that. So when they do, they go back to their huddle with a little pep in their steps. They're starting to think that they're starting to dominate the line of scrimmage.
5 yards remain on second down. Now a handoff here to his running back. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. 94 yards on the ground for him now as he has gotten better, really, as the night's gone on. 2 first downs have him up near midfield now on 1st and 10. And a give this time to the tailback. And he's across midfield and into Miami territory. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down.
This drive is pretty clear. Almost feels like old school fundamentals, doesn't it? Want to impose their will on the defense. What's that, 5 straight runs?
Yeah, 5 straight carries to start this drive, and like you said, the way it's working, they may just stick with it.
Hey, come on out here. Come get some. Come get some. Come on here. Come get some. He don't want it.
On second down, it's Sanders, and able to push forward for right around 3 yards down to the 42.
Well, praise has to go to the guys on the offensive line because they've had a very nice, productive day running the football. How about that poor defensive line? They've been knocked around the entire game, and while they slowed them down on that run, can they continue to do so? Because they haven't had much success throughout this ball game.
On third down, they'll run it with Sanders. And he's going to have the first down, yardage to the 35. Whistles in a timeout at the 2:05 mark. So this defense wanting to get one more pause in before the 2-minute warning, and they do just that. And it looks like this will be the last play before the 2-minute warning. On 1st and 10, it's Sanders. And he'll get maybe a couple before he's taken down, as that will take us to the 2-minute warning. Tackled that time by Jerome Baker out of Ohio State. So it's Eagle football here as we get you reset. They've got a second down now as they search for a score to break this tie. And he'll go down at the 28. It'll be a gain of 5, but still about 3 yards shy of the first down marker, and now it's third down.
I like it. I like the call. Still an opportunity to run the football and chew up a little more time off the clock.
From here, it would be a 45-yard field goal attempt, certainly in range, but they'll look for more yardage on third down. They'll try and run for it with Sanders. And taking it to the 15-yard line before he's brought down.
Well, they picked up a little bit of yardage there, and now, in this situation, should be in no hurry to run a play really fast. Let the clock wind down.
Line of scrimmage, the 15. It's 1st and 10. And he'll give it here to his running back. And now they're inside the 10 as he's brought down at the 9. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4. Now, what's the thinking here? Because a touchdown would be nice, but you've ensured yourself a chance at 3 in the lead, so how worried are you about the 6?
You're not very worried about if you're confident in your kicker. And if you got a kicker who can put it through the post, you feel really good.
And that's a touchdown as they break it on tie here in the 4th.
Well, any thoughts about overtime have ended at this juncture? That touchdown puts them up 6. I would imagine they'll kick the extra point now and rely on their defense.
Yeah, rely on their defense. So a little bit of time left on the clock here in the 4th, but they got to feel good now. Now Elliott good with a PAT. And the lead is now 21-14. Touchdown. Here's Elliott on to kick it away. Waddle will return this from the end zone. And he's able to get it across the 20 to the 25-yard line. The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. One possession game, time very much a factor. How does the offense handle this situation?
Well, in a lot of cases, they should be somewhat relaxed. And I know that's counterintuitive because this is a pressure situation. But this is Friday practice every week of the season. You go over this situation, having to go downfield, limited timeouts, got to get out of bounds and keep the drive going and set yourself up. Defensively, you can't just